friends and wonderful people out there in all of these ridiculous conditions. You, it's Ernestine. Hello. How are you? Oh my goodness, I had a brain fog. It's like a foggy day here in Berlin. It has not been anything but completely gorgeously sunny since the lockdown began, and it's just been this tremendous, like, fuck you from the environment. Like, come outside. And as I've mentioned before, Berliners and particularly my flatmates are like cats when it's beautiful outside. They cannot be indoors. Um, so today we're getting a bit of rain. There's going to be like a drought in Germany or some shit. It's crazy. So anyway, this is my sixth fucking week of doing live dance videos and releasing one every single day. So if you're just tuning in, um, I'm gonna get to how I am in a minute, thank you. I'm Instagram live streaming for the first time in my life, so like be patient with me because this is terrifying. Um, uh, yeah, so we are in interesting times. I've been releasing a dance video every day for 6 weeks now, and this is getting I mean, first of all, I will say to everyone who's in my life who's been concerned about the way that I'm doing this, that this project is still the thing that is keeping me sane. Um, there was this sense, I think I've talked about this before, of complete ego shattering when I arrived here in Berlin with nothing but two suitcases, not knowing anyone, not knowing where I was going to live, where I was going to work, how I was going to make money, how I was going to survive, etc., 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 etc. Just like the only thing I had connecting myself to my old life was my clothes in my suitcase. And so the question became like, who the fuck am I when I'm in a foreign country? I don't speak the language. I have no familiar reference points. I have no familiar people. I'm not in this very lovely relationship anymore. I don't have my cats. I don't have my furniture. Who the fuck am I? And the answer came, especially when my job was taken away from me, because sex workers are not currently permitted to work in Germany, and the whole reason I moved here was to be a free sex worker living in the world and plying my wares and just like having the freedom to be Ernestine, like fully and unapologetically with no cops involved, which has not been what has happened. So yeah, with the disintegration of ego, and then the disintegration of my career, and all this lonely time in these four walls all by myself, what I came back to was dance. I fell in love with dance when I was 7 years old. I had to take a 10-year break in my 20s because I was too broken, and now I've come back to it. And it's been interesting reapproaching this aspect of my life here because the idea of the project was like we're all making do with whatever exists in our house. And I happen to have this really amazing pre-war flat with a bunch of great German housemates and a big room with a wooden floor. So for me, I was like, oh, okay, I can actually fucking dance here. This can actually fucking work. And then I was like, well, why the fuck not? Let's add point to the mixture. And as the weeks went by, some old injuries started flaring up. I don't have access to PT. I don't have access to massage or treatment that I keep trying to explain this to people. Like, dancing at this level is basically like being an athlete. You don't do it without pain. It's impossible. I was taught when I was very young to ignore pain, that pain means you're doing it right. As a young ballet dancer, you're taught that, like, there was this total Freudian slip moment that was so crazy with my ballet teacher. Once I was doing point and I came to her and I said, it feels like there's a knife in my shoe. Should I take it off and see what's going on? And she said, there probably is. And I'm like, what do you mean there probably is a knife in my point shoe? That's crazy. But, for her, it was like, yeah, point shoes are basically knives on your feet. And there's this horrible stereotype that point is like extraordinarily painful all the time. And, like it is in a certain way. And I always say, it is, yeah, until your feet go numb and then you're fine, So it's just like, the theme of this week is safety. And I even like fucking did this? Do you feel safe? Because last week I've been dancing on these ladders because there are these great props that give me like vertical space. Because I don't have horizontal space. And if you've seen my dance videos from when I was in the US, I just like eating the room. I just like move and I whoosh and I wah and I just fly across the space. Grand Allegro was always my favorite, so I love doing huge leaps and stuff. And I'm thinking now maybe a better idea is to go do some filming outdoors on in a field somewhere where I can like jump and like spread my wings properly. But it's like, what are the possibilities of choreography in this small space? Okay, I'm gonna add like whatever just random shit I can find sitting around, which has made my housemates start looking at me like, who is this human? In this hysterical way, to the point where like I'm bringing up a sack of kindling from the basement downstairs because we still use these little wood stoves in this apartment. And my housemate said, "Oh, is that you're going to use that for your choreography?" And I was like, "No, I'm cold." So they think that I'm completely batshit insane because I'm a Mediterranean amidst a bunch of Germans, and I don't think they can figure me out, but they are very, very lovely and wonderful humans anyway, and I feel like lifelong friendships are building here. Anyway, oh my god, I'm so wordy always. But coming back to the theme of safety, so after last week's shoot, first of all, my self-esteem is like in the garbage can at the moment, to be completely honest with y'all, which is my policy, as you know. Dancing is one of the things that pulls me out of the garbage can. I have depressive tendencies, and when you're stuck in this situation, particularly like pandemic, move, giant life change, lost all my support systems that previously existed, have to build those up from scratch. Like, I feel like I'm free falling. I'm just in free fall all the time. Without a net. And so that just has prompted like some depressive symptoms, which I think almost everyone is experiencing right now. So I don't feel like at all special for feeling sad and like shit about myself sometimes in the morning. But last week I remember, I mean, so this is why my best friend will not watch my Patreon project, which is really interesting and like deeply hurtful. We're talking about it, we're working on it. But when I was 16, I used ballet as a method of self-destruction. I used it as a way to take the messages I was receiving from the outside world, mostly from like my family and my father, that I wasn't doing well enough in school or whatever the fuck. And I internalized those negative messages, and then I used ballet as like a weapon against myself. So her fear is that I'm going to go back to that place. And it is very hard to, all these years later, disentangle ballet from a mentality of self-harm. But I'm working on it, and I'm working on it really hard, and I'm trying to have a completely different awareness as I'm doing ballet, as I'm doing dance. So I'm trying to notice when things hurt, and it's amazingly difficult. Like, because I was trained not to, when something hurts, my neurological patterning is like, ignore, irrelevant, not important, which has gotten me injured several times. So I'm really trying not to do that anymore because it's really fucking fucked up. This is going to a very dark place. I didn't mean for it to go to a dark place. The purpose of this project is to like help other people get out of bed in the morning by having a daily lovely thing to watch. And if it's not lovely, I don't apologize, because it's catharsis for me, and I hope that my catharsis is also your catharsis, and when you see my videos, it's like, okay, another person is completely losing their shit. That makes it okay for me to lose my shit, and maybe I can like cry a little bit now and then move on with my day and be stronger for the people around me, and like just and hold it together, because like, I don't know, if she can stand on the tips of her toes, then I can like do whatever this thing is I need to be doing. So yeah, so anyway, after last week's shoot, I went out to my housemates, and we had our weekly meeting, and I did my little check-in, and I said, I just had a realization that that tall ladder that I've been using it's ancient. It's ancient. It doesn't like, there's not a thing that like locks it open so it wobbles. And the other thing is that I've discovered that this floor, you put a ball on it and the ball will roll. I took this incredible Horton class at the Ailey School in New York City because that's the kind of fucking amazing thing we can do right now. I discovered Zoom dance classes and Zoom yoga classes, and those have been like got me through this week. They're so amazing. But if you don't know, the Ailey School in New York City is one of the foremost preeminent modern dance establishments in the entire world, and it's based in Horton technique, which is my personal favorite type of modern dance. So I got to take a Horton class that was amazing, but as I was doing it, I was realizing for the first time that this floor is actually quite slanted, and so when I'm dancing on point, not only is the floor a little slippery and I have to wet my point shoes, which you're not supposed to do because the glue gets softer, so my feet have to be stronger. So I've been spraying them down with water to make the satin and the leather like stickier. But so that makes it like safe-ish, but I didn't realize that I'm literally dancing on a floor where, so when you're stepping off of like a ladder on your toe to the floor, you need to know exactly where that floor is to the millimeter, and my body is calibrated to understand what muscular actions need to be taken to transfer my weight from the ladder to a toe on the floor, but that necessitates knowing where the floor is. So if the floor is a few millimeters higher or lower than you think it is, it's like you've just, your body just has to fucking figure it out in this moment, and it's wild. It's completely wild. So I said to my housemates, like, if I was choreographing a piece, or if I was in a piece that somebody else was choreographing on me in these conditions with this wobbly ladder and this crazy slippery floor, I would either not ask that person to do that choreography under those conditions and I would find a different solution or get rid of the ladder altogether, or I would say to the choreographer, fuck no, I'm not doing that because that's not safe. So issues of safety become, like the environmental safety of a dance space become incredibly important when you're doing really difficult choreography, or if, like me, you're just improvising and so you're hurling yourself into movement and hoping that the environment like catches you and that your muscles are strong enough to withstand whatever it is that you're trying to do. And since I choreograph from like soul, and I try not to use my brain, I try to shut off my brain so I can be the Martha Graham channel that I would like to be, and just purely choreograph from spirit. Like the thinking of where is the floor and where is the ladder and how will the ladder move and trying to anticipate those things is very, very detrimental to the process. So I'm going to try a sort of stripped back version this week, maybe a little less point and a little less weird props and see what happens. The other updates are Berlin has opened some small shops. We're starting to back out of the lockdown very, very slowly. I still feel way safer here than I would in the US. I'm still extremely glad that I'm in this country, despite the fact that it's difficult. And we've seen a little bit of an uptick in the pandemic transmission rates, which is really, really not good. So, hookers are not allowed to work until at least May 10th. Which is fucking brutal. I've started an OnlyFans page. Oh my god, I should have led with that, for fuck's sake. I already have like 7 gentlemen who are following me, and I'm going to be releasing all the content that I can't release like on YouTube, Patreon, or Instagram. So if you want to see the more salacious side of Ernestine, which has been in development, the way to like have a sexual encounter with someone who is not in the room, which is so weird. It's so weird. So I've been working on doing. Yeah, so that is now up and running, and onlyfans.com/Siren Ernestine is where you can find the burlesques that are too risque for anything else. I've been having a fuck ton of fun doing burlesque, like naked or mostly naked. I just keep the camera rolling after the burlesque that I post on Patreon and YouTube, and then see what the fuck happens. And it's really cool. So I'm loving that. I'm making other types of sexy content, photos, all sorts of things are in the works, because apparently I have to move my career online for the foreseeable future. So keep your eye on that. And I think that's it for now, because I really want to go dance now. Coming attractions for this week, my dearest friend in the whole world played her accordion and recorded it. So she played me an Italian song. I'm like, you fucking play accordion? It was wild. Anyway, and so she recorded herself playing a beautiful song that I'm going to dance to, and then I have a lot of other kick-ass music, and going to start with some ballet, as usual, which will probably be a patron-only or OnlyFans-only video. That's not an interesting sentence. Okay, sending all of my love and support to all of you, whatever your situation is. I know that this is like a fucking hard moment for everyone, and it just keeps like getting more and more. If you have children, like, God fucking bless you from this secular woman. You're fucking amazing. That's crazy. I don't know how you're doing that. I watch people parenting around here and I'm like, how? I'm too busy parenting myself. So on that note, I'm going to go like try to safely explore what is in my soul today, and rummage around there and bring it out, and all of that just bottled up shit, and like try to like get through it so that we can get through this together and take care of yourselves, be nice to yourselves. I'm saying that to myself, looking at myself. Hey, you, be nice to yourself. Because I really suck at it. But I'm using this project as a way to get better. So, yeah, okay, that's me, super vulnerable. Like, just, there's all my shit. I hope you enjoyed. Much love to you all, and hang in there. Okay. Tschüss. Bye.